Hello everyone. Recently I have posted one video, that is -1 right shifted by 2, -1 right shifted by 5. So one of my friend asking questions like if 23 right shifted by -1, left shifted by -2, then what about the output? What about the output? If you came to know the limitations of the right shift or left shift and right shift operator, you can solve these questions within a second, fraction of seconds. Okay, so while learning any topics, you should try to raise some questions in your mind which helps you to understand more in-depth concept regarding that topics. Okay, whenever you will look such type of questions in technical interview or in technical round, then you will get confused. You will try to solve these questions, so it will take a time. Consider one example. Consider one example, A right shifted by B. Consider one example, A right shifted by B. Everyone knows this is the right shifting operator. This is the right shift operators which having the two operand 1, operand 2. This is the operand 1 and operand 2. There are certain limitations for operand A, also operand B. Okay, first we will discuss what are the things we can use here. Operand A can be integer variable, operand A can be integer constant, operand A can be a negative value also. Operand A can be integer variable, operand A can be integer constant or negative value. Operand B, it can be integer variable, it can be integer constant. Okay, first we will take what are the we can integer constant. Operand A can be integer constant, operand 1 can be integer variable, operand A can be a negative value. Okay, we can be use here integer constant, integer variable, negative value. The compiler will works fine, there is no issue. About operand 2, it can be a for operand 2 we can use integer constant, operand 2 can be integer constant or integer variable. Operand 2 can be integer constant or can be integer variable. Okay, now we will discuss limitations for operand 1. Limitations for operand 1. What are the things we should not use here? Operand 1 should not be a real number. Operand 1 should not be a real number. Example 2.3, 5.8 etc. If I will use real number as operand 1, then what will happen? All those things we will discuss. Then what about the limitations of operand 2? Limitations. Operand 1 should not be a real number. Operand 2 should not be a real number. Operand 2 should not be a negative number. Operand 2 should not be a negative number. And one more thing, this operand 2, the value of operand 2 is limited. We can't use any number here. There is also certain limit. Example, operand 2, it should be within 0 to 32 or 64. That is depends on compiler. That's why limitations means range or value, it should be within this range. Operand 2 range, the range of operand, it should be within a 32 or 64, within a 0 to 32 or 64. That is all those things depends on compiler. This is all about limitations. Now we will discuss what will happen if I will use the real number, if I will use real number, negative number as a range. Okay, then before talking about these questions, I will discuss what will happen if I will use real number, if I will use negative number, if I will use the value more than this range. Okay. Please keep in your mind, we cannot perform right shifting or left shifting operations on real number. Please keep in your mind. If I will try to if I will try to use the real number for doing the right shifting or left shifting operator, simply whatever it may be, either operand 1 or operand 2, we will get error. If I will try to use real number, we will get error. We will get compile time error. Then what about the negative number? What about the negative number? What about the negative number? Before talking about the negative number, we will talk about range. If I will use operand, if I will use operand to, if I will use operand to more than this range, then what will happen? Simply compiler works like undefined behavior. Undefined behavior. Simply compiler works like undefined behavior. We can't predict the output, unpredictable output. If I will use the value of operand 2 more than this range, we will get undefined behavior. But operand 1 can be any value, but for operand 2 there is a certain restrictions are there, we should use within this range. Okay, now we will discuss about negative number. If here there is no limitations of negative number, we can use negative number here, we can use negative number as a operand 2, there is no issue. But if I will use negative number, as a operand 2, we will again, the compilers work like undefined behavior. Compiler works like a undefined behavior, but in advanced compiler we can predict output. That is suppose if the question is 5 right shifted by -1 is equal to question mark. If we will check with our advanced compilers, by 5 right shifted by -1, the compiler does, advanced compilers are doing operations, that is internally because of the negative number, compiler internally doing exact opposite operations by 1. Means here we are shifting 5 right, we are shifting 5 by -1, but because of that negative value, compilers are doing exact opposite operations of this operator, that is 5 left shifted by 1. So instead of doing right shifter, the compilers are doing left shifter. 5 left shifted by 1, simply we know 0 1 0, this is the binary, these things. 5 left shifted by 1, this will shift by here, 1 0 will add here, everything will shift by 1, like that. 10 decimal. Instead of doing 5 right shifted by -1 because of the negative value, compilers doing the exact opposite operation, that is 5 left shifted by 1. If I will take one more questions, 3 right shifted by -2, internally compilers are doing, because of the negative value, 3 left shifted by 2. Or you can take 10 left shifted by -1, the compilers are working like 10 right shifted by 1. And in advanced compiler, 10 left shifted by -1 equivalent to 10 right shifted by 1, 5 right shifted by -1 equivalent to 5 left shifted by 1. Like that advanced compilers are working. If your interviewer will ask such type of questions, you can tell undefined behavior also, otherwise you can able to tell this one also, because advanced compilers are working exact opposite operation of that operator if the given number is, if operand 2 is negative number. Okay, this is all about the limitations, this is all about what are the things we can able to use operand 1 or operand 2, and what are the limitations as a operand 1 or operand 2. Why I am discussing all the in-depth information about this in-depth informations, because if you wanted to become a software engineer, if you wanted to become a embedded software developer, whatever it may be, you should have the in-depth knowledge about the operators, or whatever it may be. If you are learning C programming, you should have in-depth knowledge of that programming, which will helps you to crack the interview, which will helps you while working also. Okay, please should not learn any operator like right shifting operator means it will shift by 1, left shifting operator it will shift by 1. No, you should know all the in-depth informations. Okay, this is all about today's lecture.